Good morning, welcome to a morning review. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 15th of December. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, the euro eventually yesterday sold off in the end with the news coming out from the US. The Fed have decided to take a bit more of a hawkish stance by looks of things at the moment, suggesting three interest rate increases next year as opposed to two, so, which has shocked the market a little bit. The expectation of just just an interest rate increase and much of the norm would have been very much built into the market. This extra interest rate increase hasn't been, so a little bit of a shocker. How much that will show, we'll see. I'm still wondering if we'll get a bit of a bounce this morning on these currencies, but we'll have to wait. If we don't, we'll just trade the downside. At the moment, I can't really be looking long on the euro. I was trying to look for an upside move until it breaks that hourly 8. Really need to let it get a bit of a wiggle on first. There's plenty of upside potential if it does turn around. If it's going to continue to downside targets are sort of limited to previous lows, maybe the S1. It always makes for a tricky day after news, and it may just consolidate today, so we'll see how we go. Okay, the pound. Now we've got some news coming out which will potentially affect the pound later. We've got the a monetary policy committee at 12 o'clock, so news out later on, which, as I say, could well affect the pound at that point. But the pound sold off as well last night. Obviously, I say obviously, but not anywhere near as the recent lows or anything. The same as what we see with the euro. But of course, the pound had been taking a bit of a hammering before. But I say recent lows. This is at recent lows. Just testing that trend line that we saw before and seeing a bit of a bounce from there. Now, well, we'll see. The UK economy in some respects may be more aligned to the US economy in some of the positive signs there, but of course we've got Brexit, which is the great unknown. So I think people are a bit wary, but I would be looking to buy on opportunities back towards the daily pivot, the 60-20 alternatively, if it starts selling off, it's pretty straightforward. I think a more straightforward cable at the moment because it's already put these candles in. Maybe a sell of these lows would provide some opportunity to continue within this sort of short-term trend. Dollar yen still to me is a weak currency, and it's because of the action with possible carry trade, etc. And this hasn't helped the situation at all. And we'll probably see treasuries increase in value, US treasuries, and the potential for the carry to continue. So we're just really seeing further upside at the moment, and I'm still erring towards the long side. Although if we get divergences, that's the potential into such as the highs or the daily R1, well, it may reverse there, but preference would be really on the long side. Getting into a long trade pretty difficult from where it is at the moment, but if there are opportunities, I may consider that. Alternative on the short side again, pretty much like the euro, would be looking for the break of the hourly 80 to give me some sort of confirmation it may be breaking down. Okay, Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar sold off, no surprise again. It's sort of move we'd expect following the Fed announcement, or the surprise Fed announcement, I should say. But again, whether this will correct itself, and we may yet see a bit of a bounce from here. So looking really at the potential, but it's a bit so similar to the rest of the market. You're almost thinking, well, let's look at the continuation to the downside. Maybe the easiest route if it gives us a signal. But if we see any sort of reversal signs, well, maybe a break of the highs here. It's got a bit of a clearer move here. It's a bit like cable to some degree. If it breaks above these highs, well, then we'll be looking for the pivot. It may not have a lot of meat in that, though, in terms of trading it. And the pivot or above rather, I should say. Canadian dollar, actually just a quick flick onto oil, and you can see oil took a bit of a dive back down towards $51, so that's a sort of double whammy to the Canadian dollar, and at the moment it's pushing up, but $50 a barrel was better than it was a few weeks ago. and we may see a bit of, again, I'm wary that we may get corrections in these markets back into the mode. But if we don't, we just got to look at what opportunities we've got to go with at the moment. But it doesn't look like a lot from the lower time frames at the moment. But so we may get opportunities to go with. I mean, the obvious things was buying off the alley 8 or something like this may have given us opportunities, but this all happened through the Asian session there. Again, was the Canadian dollar a break of the alley 8? May see me look for opportunities to trade it back towards daily pivots again. So that's pretty much it for today. I think it's a pretty tough one, as I said. With the we'll see if we get opportunities to go with if the market starts carrying on pricing in this sort of extra interest rate increase over the next year. We'll see. We can try and play for that. Alternatively, I'll be watching for the transitional turns and potentially a move back towards those daily pivots. With the news today, as I said, at 12 o'clock we've got the Monetary Policy Committee from Bank of England speaking and releasing all the votes, and everything would come out at 12 o'clock. I don't expect it to be a major mover, but you never know what to expect sometimes. And then later at 1:30 we've got US inflation, which probably was largely built into the comments that were made yesterday, but still at 1:30 we've got some potential market moving news. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.